guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is gonna be interesting. I was going through Facebook yesterday and I came across someone posted this thing called 70 horrible questions you may ask, and I thought I would go through all 70 of them because there's a lot. So yeah, let's get started because I have a feeling this will take some time. So number one, it says, do you have a good relationship with your parents? So this is kind of a trick question for me because I technically don't have biological parents. Well, I do, obviously, because I'm here, but I don't know my biological parents. So going off of that, no, obviously I don't have a good relationship with them because I don't know who they are. But my adoptive mother, who has been in my life since I was a baby, pretty much, I had a really good relationship with her up until the point where she passed away when I was 14. And then I moved in with family friends who are now my guardians slash like parent figures in my life, and I have a really great relationship with them. So there's that. So that's kind of a tricky question for me because technically I have like 3 different sets of parents. And if you include my grandmother, who also kind of acted as a parent figure through part of my childhood, I have a pretty fair relationship with her. It wasn't always that way, but now we have a pretty good relationship. Who did you last say I love you to? Aw, I said it to my new boo, which he's a sweetie. So that one's easy. Do you regret anything? I don't regret a lot of things. I'm trying to think. Like, I try to think of all the bad things that happen in my life as learning experiences, like bad things and things like in terms of things that I do to myself. I think one of my biggest regrets in life, and the only one that really bothers me, is me being an angsty little teenager during the time where my mom was really sick, because I don't, like, I know for me, I know now that she knows that I'm not such a terrible person, but like I regret the fact that like her like last like memories of me were of me as an angsty teen. So I wish I was less of a selfish kid back then. Are you insecure? The answer is very much so a yes. I am pretty insecure about a lot of things. I am mildly insecure about my weight. Right now I'm at a pretty fair point where I'm like, okay, like this is fine. It's not like the best, but I'll take it. But if I get upwards of, I'm pretty short, I'm like 5'3". On a good day I'm like 5'4", but I average around 5'3¼ ish. I weigh around, my lightest that I've been at this height has been 115 pounds. The heaviest that I've been has been 134 pounds. The thing about being really short though is you gain 5 pounds and people can really tell. So if right now I'm around 125, 127, like in that range, you know, like 125 in the morning when you haven't eaten anything and you just pooped, and then at the end of the day where you're bloated and you just had dinner and you've gained a couple weight or a couple pounds, yeah, so that's where I'm at, which is fine. But if I get upwards, if I get closer to 130, I start to get a little worried. I'm also insecure about like literally just leaving my house. I get really nervous when I have to go into social settings. I have social anxiety, which isn't the greatest thing, and it really depends on the situation. Like, I have more social anxiety when it comes to like being around a lot of people I don't know and having to interact with them. Like, I can go to the grocery store by myself and that's fine. Places that I'm familiar with like Target and Walmart, whatever, I'm fine going there because I don't really have to interact with people, and I always go through the self-checkout line and I don't mind that. But like places like going to a club or whatever, like I don't do that. Because I don't like people looking at me and I don't like attention. I very much prefer to be in the corner and no one knows who I am. What is your relationship status? So, my relationship status for me right now is that I'm taken. I'm in a very lovely relationship with a very lovely boy. He's very sweet, he's very kind to me, which is all that matters. Well, it's not all that matters, but it's all that matters to me. Because I was in a relationship where I wasn't treated very nicely, and now I am, and so that makes me happy. How do you want to die? So I want to die as painlessly and as less scared as possible. So Like the painlessly option is, and the scary option would be like, worst case scenario for me is a very long, very painful, very frightening death. So by that I mean like a fire, dying in a fire, being tortured to death, being kidnapped and, you know, brutally tortured and then killed, or just dying of my injuries. Like not even like someone kills me, it's just like I get hurt to the point where I just die from my injuries. Car crashes, that's a pretty high up on my list because that's more plausible than me dying in a fire, or getting kidnapped and murdered. But those are the ways I don't want to die. The ways that I do want to die are very quick and painless. I prefer, like, if it had to be scary, you know, being shot like once in the head, very quick, probably painless, but would be very scared. Not preferable, but I'll take it over a like long painful death. But preferably very short, very quick, very painless, and a point where I'm either drugged out of my mind, I don't know what's happening, or I'm like 80 years old and I just die in my sleep. Not 80, that's pretty young. My grandmother's like 84. Like when I'm like 95 and I die in my sleep. Number 7, when did you what did you last eat? I haven't eaten anything today. It is currently, it's almost 2 o'clock and I haven't had anything to eat today. So the last thing that I ate was last night, and what was it? It was either candy corn or I think it was candy corn, because I had dinner, and I'm pretty sure after dinner I had candy corn, or it was a Pop-Tart. I can't remember. It was one of those two. Have you played any sports? Yes, so I used to play volleyball in middle school. I was really bad at it. My whole team was really bad, but I used to play volleyball in middle school, and that was technically the last sport that I played, unless you count marching band as a sport, which a lot of people don't, even though it's pretty rigorous, and we practice just as often and just as much as a lot of sports teams do. Do you bite your nails? I don't bite my like fingernails. I bite my cuticles a lot because right now it's getting cold and my hands are getting dry and my cuticles are getting dry. I need to read up on Christine's cuticle oil so my cuticles aren't so grody. But if my cuticles get real dry, I will bite my cuticles, but I don't bite my nails. I used to bite my nails, and then I got really tired of like that point when you bite your nails and then you rip it and then it rips your quick and then you bleed. I hate that, so I stopped biting my nails for that reason, but I still bite my cuticles. When was your last physical fight? So I don't know if you would call this a physical fight because we never like swung at each other, but it got pretty heated and it got pretty aggressive, and that was, I actually have a video on it. This lady that I had an argument with at Universal Studios, I'll link it. Where is it gonna be? I think it's gonna be up here. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But we had this altercation with this woman. You can go watch that video to get a full detail description of everything, but basically she pushed my stepsister over. We got into a very screamy, yelly argument. I think she really wanted me to throw the first punch so she could have an excuse to fight me. I wasn't about to do it. She took my phone, she threw it off of the parking deck, my phone broke. It was a whole ordeal, and then they never got caught, so that's fun. But that was technically my last like fight, if you would call that physical, but that was as close to a physical fight as I've ever been in. I've never actually been into like a hitting, punching, pulling hair kind of fight. So yeah. Do you like someone? I like a lot of people actually. I don't like most people, but there are a lot of people that I do like. Obviously I like my friends and I like my family, but in terms of like, yeah, I like my boyfriend, obviously. Have you ever stayed up 48 hours? No, I don't think I've stayed up 48 hours. I've definitely pulled all-nighters where I've stayed up for 24 hours, but I don't think I've ever stayed up 48 hours because I'm pretty sure I would die because I live for sleep. I sleep so much. Do you hate anyone at the moment? Hate is a very strong word. There's a lot of people that I really don't like. Most people I don't really care for. There are a very select few of people that I don't like, and there are very few people where I hate them. I would say my definition of hate is like I have no feelings for them whatsoever. I don't care if they keel over dead right now. That kind of feeling. I have that towards like one person very strongly, and that is one of my ex-boyfriends. Not my most recent ex-boyfriend. I feel like I have to really think on that one because I really don't like him because he's been a prick for the past like 3 or 4 months, and it's been a pain in my ass. And it got to the point where I was like, I really don't fucking care what you do with your life. But I feel like if he died, I feel like I would be like, that kind of sucks, you know? But I don't think I would be like overtly sad about it. I just feel like I don't feel like I wouldn't care, but I don't feel like I would be very sad, you know? Like, I don't think I would cry at his funeral, if that makes sense. But my other ex-boyfriend, like, he was such a piece of crap. I honestly, like, I don't care what is happening to him now, clearly, but honestly, if someone told me that he died, I'd be like, cool, sweet, man. So yeah. Do you miss anyone? Yeah, I miss my mom. That's someone that I really miss a lot. It's been, like, recently, it's been more difficult just because it's like I have been going through a lot and a lot of changes and a lot of emotions, and it would be really nice to have her input on a lot of things, but you know, it's a learning thing, you know. I'm an adult, barely, but I'm an adult. I make adult decisions and I have to live with the consequences of my adult decisions. But it's nice, you know, it's always nice to have your mom there, you know, like whether you're a son or a daughter, you know, it's always nice to have your mom. And so not having that really sucks, but you know, it's life. At least it's my life. Do you have any pets? Yes, I have 6 pets. I have a lot of pets. I have 4 cats and I have 2 dogs, and they're doing very great. How exactly are you feeling at the moment? I'm feeling like I have a headache, and I feel like it's because 1, I haven't eaten, and 2, I'm staring at this really bright ring light. So yeah, I have a headache and I'm hungry. So that's how I'm feeling right now. But other than that, I'm feeling pretty good. Also, I'm a little sniffly. Have you ever made out in the bathroom? Yeah, probably, because I've had shower sex, so I guess that counts as like the bathroom. So yeah. Are you scared of spiders? It depends on the spider. I'm less scared of like granddaddy long legs. I call them granddaddy long legs. Most people just call them daddy long legs, but I call them granddaddy long legs. But I'm not afraid of them because we have a lot of them at the gallery. They don't really bother me. And I'm not afraid of like the really itty bitty spiders, but anything other than that, and I don't do spiders. I really don't like them. Would you go back in time if you were given the chance? Yes and no. If I could go back in time just as an observer, like where people don't know who I am, you know, like I can't affect my future, I would do that. I wouldn't go back in time to change anything though, because you know, as much as my past kind of sucks, like I wouldn't change it because it's made me the person that I am today, and I like the person that I am today for the most part, so I wouldn't change anything. But if I could go back just as like an observer, I definitely would do that. Where was the last place you snogged someone? What the hell is snogged? Okay, that's a word that I'm gonna have to look up on our Urban Dictionary because I don't know what that means. Oh, kiss and caress amorously. Yeah, I guess my boyfriend. Duh. I've never heard that word in my life. What are your plans for this weekend? That's a good question because it's actually Thursday. Tomorrow I'm working 2 shifts tomorrow, my day shift and my night shift. And then Saturday, just work my day shift. And then in the evening, I am off, which I'm really happy about. I will probably do absolutely nothing this weekend. Sunday, I think I'm also working, so mostly just work. Mostly just work. Do you want to have kids? If so, how many? I am in between on if I want kids. There are very few kids that I like. Actually, there's like 2 children that I like in my life, and that is my like kind of niece. She's been on my channel. Her name is Baby Rue. She is the cutest thing in the world. She's absolutely adorable. I love her to death, and she is the only child, and her baby brother Daniel, they are the only children that I love to death. They are the cutest, and I love them. They are the only children where I'm like, I love you. But in terms of like my own children, like obviously if I have my own kids, I'll love them because they're my kids. But in terms of me getting to that point where I want to have kids, like if I have a kid by accident, like that shouldn't happen because I've been on birth control for like a very long time and I'm still on birth control, so that shouldn't happen. But if fluke chance happens, I get pregnant on accident, you know, I'm not gonna be mad about it. I'm not gonna be happy about it because like I can't afford kids right now, but obviously I would take care of the baby and I would love it as my own. But in terms of making the executive decision or going forth with getting off of birth control and actively trying to have a kid, I don't really know if I want to do that, because again, they're very expensive. I can't really afford it right now. I have so many other things to think about and worry about that I don't know if I can like bring a kid into this world right now. So that's up in the air. Do you have piercings? If so, how many? I do. So I have my nipples pierced. I don't know if you count that as 1 or 2, but I have my nipples pierced. I have both of my earlobes pierced. I have my earlobes pierced in 2 places. So I have 2 earlobe piercings. I have my tragus and I have my nipples. I used to have my belly button pierced, but that was a whole ordeal. I have a video on that too if you want to watch it. What is /are/were your best subjects? So up until high school, math was my best subject up until I took geometry. I sucked at geometry. I was really good at algebra, and I'm really still good at algebra, but geometry, not so much. I did really good in high school or in college math. I only had to take 1 math class. I did fine at that. Science, I sucked at science. English, pretty good at English. Just okay at math, really bad at science, pretty good at English. There's my cat. I'm pretty good at sign language, which is one of my college courses. I'm pretty good at sociology, which is another one of my college courses. It's my major, so. But yeah, I'm pretty good at those subjects. But in terms of like basic like English, math, science, you know, that. Do you miss anyone from your past besides my mother? Because we've already covered that. Like, I would assume this question refers to people who are not currently in your life anymore. Not really. Like, I kind of miss my friends from middle school because I used to have a lot more friends in middle school than I probably did in high school, like friends. I don't really miss that many people from high school, but I kind of want to catch up with all my middle school buddies. What are you craving right now? Literally anything. I am so hungry, but I really want a Pop-Tart, but we have no more Pop-Tarts in this house, so I don't know what I'm gonna eat. I'm kind of tempted to go get food, but I'm worried if I get food that I won't be hungry for dinner tonight or that I'll be fat. See, that's another one of my insecurities, but whatever. I might go by Chick-fil-A and just grab like a quick something that's not too filling. But yeah, I'm hungry for just about anything. Have you ever broken someone's heart? I have. I shouldn't be proud of it, but I have. I feel like I've broken, like, I have never been dumped. Currently I've been in 4 relationships, if you include the one that I'm currently in. But before this one, I've been in 3 past relationships. Every single one of them, I've broken up with them. I definitely believe that my last relationship, I probably broke his heart. I'm sure he's pretty, I don't know if he's over it by now. I don't really care, but I'm sure he's over it by now. But yeah, I definitely feel like I broke his heart. I shouldn't be like happy about that, but I'm like, whatever. Have you ever been cheated on? I feel like I have, but I have no proof of it, you know? Like, not my past ex, but the ex before that one, the one that I don't care what happens if they live or die. That one, the person that I would feel the closest to of hating, he made a lot of suggestions about like making out with other girls and doing stuff with other girls, but he claims that we weren't together. But I remember one day in middle school, I went to school and a lot of people came up to me and was like, I'm so sorry, like, how are you doing? And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, I heard that you and blank broke up. And I was like, I haven't heard this news. Like, is he going around telling people that we broke up? Because he hasn't told me. And so he would like say like, oh, like when we were taking a break or whatever, I went out and made out with this girl. And I was like, but were we taking a break? Was it you who thought we were taking a break, or was I aware of this break? So yeah, if you count that as cheating, that's about as close as I got as I've been to being cheated on. I've never cheated, so there's also that. Have you made a boyfriend / girlfriend? Can I read the rest of this, please? Have you made a boyfriend / girlfriend cry? Yes, my ex-boyfriend, I made him cry because I broke up with him. What's irritating you right now? What's irritating me right now probably is the fact that I have no idea what I'm gonna do with my life, and it like gets under my skin a lot. And I'm irritated about it because I'm like, I feel like I'm failing at life right now. So that's what's irritating me. Does somebody love you? A lot of people love me. That's the weird thing. Like, I have depression, which is like, I feel like an obvious thing, but it's not something that I really talk about a lot because it's like, oh, you have depression, like, and I don't want that. Like, I hate the half of the people who are like, oh, you have depression, I feel bad for you, and I give you sympathy. I don't want that. I also hate the other half of people who are like, it's all in your head. So I don't really talk about it. But the thing is that's really weird about depression, it's like, I know very well in my brain that so many people love me and care for me. I know that, like, it's in my brain. I know that that's a fact that exists. But when you get really sad and it, like, your days suck and you're just like, no one cares for me, even though you know logically that people care for you, yeah, there's that. Yes, I know that somebody loves me. I know that my boyfriend loves me. I know that my grandmother loves me. I know that my family loves me. My friends love me. So yeah. What's your favorite color? Anything fall related. I really like deep pastel-y oranges, the deep greens, like the forest greens, the deep greens. I like purple a lot. I like blacks and grays. I like a lot of neutral colors. I like a lot of like mauve. I like that color a lot. I like mostly like color schemes, not so much specific colors, but color schemes that are very aesthetically pleasing. Do you have trust issues? Not really. It depends. I don't so much have trust issues where it's like my boyfriend's at work right now. Like, obviously I'm not gonna be like, are you talking to girls at work? Like, has anyone, like, are people trying to flirt with you? Like, I don't give a shit. I don't have trust issues in that regard. But I feel like I'm just insecure. I have more trust issues in the fact of like, am I good enough? Like, am I gonna make them happy enough? Like, am I, you know, do I suck, kind of thing. I have more trust issues in myself than I do in other people. And I guess it also depends on like what you mean by trust. Like, I trust a very few select amount of people. Like, I wouldn't just go and put my faith and trust in someone that I don't know, you know, but I feel like that's given. But like, people that I know really well, like, I know who to trust and I know not who to trust based on my experiences, if that makes sense. Who or what was your last dream about? So I actually just talked to my boyfriend this morning about this really bizarre dream that I had. So I had two dreams last night. One of them was really weird. I was like walking around this, like, it reminded me a lot of Pompeii. I've been to Pompeii. It's very just a lot of dirt, a lot of openness, and it's really hot. And it's a lot of like clay and just dirt, basically, and all these dirt buildings. But I had a dream that I was walking through this very open dirt field and there were these literal giants, like giant people in togas. It was very Greek-like, which is really Greek or Roman-like, whatever. But they were wearing these togas and I feel like I'm like really low in frame, so I'm gonna sit up a little bit. And they were swinging around these rocks and these big old boulders. And they were just flinging them like willy-nilly and they would go flying into these like crowds of people. And I remember like running and trying to like, sorry, my cat's rubbing up on the tripod. But I remember like running away and trying to not get hit by these boulders. And then I had another weird dream where I was in a cafe line. I was in a cafeteria line and it was like one of those, so if you've ever been to K&W, a lot of people call it Canes and Walkers. I like K&W, but it's a cafeteria style restaurant. You get a tray, you set it down, you go through the line, there's like a glass display where you can see all the food and there's workers there. You point and tell them what you want, they scoop it out and they hand it to you. So I was going through one of those cafeteria lines and there was this really old man who was just taking forever to like scoop people's foods onto this plate. And then he would like hand it to you, and the way that it works is like there's this big glass display in the way, so you can't like go through it, so you have to sit it on top of the glass display and then people will just take it and put it on their tray. So then I get to the end of the line and there's this old lady who's doing that. She's like giving people their food, setting it on top of the display, and you take it and whatever. And then I remember checking out and my total was like $142. It was ridiculous. And I looked at it and the lady had charged me a reaching fee. The more that I think about this dream, the more I'm like, what even? She charged me a reaching fee where it's like, this is not even a thing that I can make up, like, on a whim. Like, I don't know why my brain decides to make this up in a dream. Like, I can't even come up with this on my own. But she charged me a reaching fee because she couldn't reach over the display to hand it to me, so she had to set it on top. So she charged me a fee for me having to reach and grab my own food. Like, it was ridiculous. So yeah, that was my last dream. It was really bizarre. Who was the last person you cried in front of? My boyfriend. I cry a lot. And the thing is like, I haven't really had like a really like broken down crying moment, because I'm a real ugly crier, and I'm one of those, like, I get all snotty, I do like the like breathing, like I do that, like I get the real shaky breaths. I'm a real ugly crier. So I haven't like super ugly cried in front of him, but I have cried in front of him. So let's see, do you give out second chances too easily? Yes. And I know that I would like to say no, but I know that it's a yes because of my last relationship, because I gave way too many second chances and it lasted a lot longer than it should have. Is it easier to forgive or forget? See, I feel like if you forget, oh, my cat is playing with the light. Cool. I think it's easier to, I don't know if it's easier to forgive or forget. I think if you forget, you've pretty much forgiven because you don't remember it. So how can you hold a grudge against something that you don't remember? But if you forgive someone, I feel like you can forgive someone but still not forget, you know, because like if you forgive someone, it's like, I understand that you did this really crappy thing to me, I forgive you, but that doesn't mean that I'm gonna, you know, give you that opportunity to do the same thing to me again. So I'm not gonna forget about it like it didn't happen, you know? So I guess it's easier to forgive than it is to forget. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know, because I really like, I hold grudges real bad. I don't know if it's just a woman thing, but I really hold grudges pretty badly, so I can't really say. Is this the best year of your life? Absolutely not. It has been a roller coaster of emotions. It has been a lot of great things have happened to me this year. A lot of terrible things have happened to me this year. Would I say it's the best year of my life? Probably not, because it's not my last year. So is it the best year of my life so far? Probably not. But it's been a really great year in certain aspects of my life and a really bad year in other aspects of my life. So honestly, and also the year isn't over yet. It's October, so we'll see. Could turn around and a lot of great things could happen. But, you know, we'll see. How old were you when you had your first kiss? I was actually pretty young. I was maybe, it was definitely before I was in 5th grade. So I was pretty young. It was with one of my neighbor boys, and I also kissed this boy at church. I can't remember if I kissed him before I kissed my neighbor boy, but I was pretty young. I was maybe like 7, so I was pretty young. Have you ever walked outside completely naked? No. I have this thing, like, I would feel very sorry for my neighbors who have to see me naked. I've never walked outside of my house naked. I've walked around my house naked, but I've never walked outside naked. What is my favorite food? I really like sushi a lot. That's kind of like me and my boyfriend's go-to food is sushi. So I like that a lot. But in terms of like a comfort food, like deviled egg sandwiches with plain Pringles is my ultimate comfort food. So let's see. Do you believe everything happens for a reason? Absolutely. I definitely think no matter what you go through, no matter what life hits you in the face with, it's a learning experience, and life happens for a reason, and things happen for a reason. And honestly, like, it's hard to see it in the moment, but like even now, like, I can look back and be like, wow, like if that didn't happen, this wouldn't happen, and I'm really glad that this happened. Let's see. What is the last thing you did before you went to bed last night? I did adult things. I did naughty adult things. So that's what I did. And I guess did I watch Family Guy? I don't even know if I watched Family Guy. Or I also probably played on my phone a little bit. I don't really know. Did a lot of things before I went to bed last night. Is cheating ever okay? Never. If you feel the need to cheat on your significant other, just leave them. Like, what's the, like, I get it. Like, I get why people cheat, because it's like, oh, like, I still want to be with this person, but I just want a real quickie with this one. Like, I get that, but I feel like if you're gonna cheat, like, just break it off with them. Like, clearly, like, I don't know. Cheating is never okay. It's so dumb. It's like, don't cheat on people, because it's like, you're just breaking their heart. Like, would it be better to break their heart by saying, hey, like, I'm sorry, like, I'm not feeling us anymore, like, I just want to break up, and then go fuck with some other girl? Or would it be better to just go and break someone's heart because you cheated on them? Like, I feel like they would respect you more as a person to say, like, hey, I don't want to be in this relationship, I don't want to cheat on you because I like this other person, so I respect you enough to break up with you. Like, that's so much better than cheating. Are you mean? Yeah, I feel like I'm a pretty mean person. A lot of people think that I'm not. Well, it depends. Like, first impressions, I have the worst resting bitch face, so a lot of people think that I'm mean. But people who know me don't think that I'm mean, but I think that I'm pretty mean. I think that I can be very mean sometimes, but I think as a general person, I guess in general I'm not mean, but I know sometimes I feel like I'm pretty mean. How many people have you fist fought? None. I have never punched a person in the face, like, ever. Not like, I've like hit people in the face, but not as like I'm mad at you. Like, you remember one time, actually no, I don't think I've ever slapped someone in the face. I know I've punched people in the arm, but that was more of like a how hard can you hit kind of thing. But I don't think I've ever slapped or punched someone in the face deliberately because I was angry with them. Do you believe in true love? Absolutely. I definitely think that there are people in the world that are right for you. And if that person is you, then good on you, you know? Like, I don't feel like everyone is meant to have someone. Sometimes I feel like people are meant to just have themselves, and that they're happy to have themselves. But I definitely believe that true love exists. Favorite weather? The one that I'm currently in right now, which is fall. It is supposed to be 74 degrees today, which I would be happy if it was 70. It'd be a little bit nicer, but I am so glad that it is no longer 93 outside. Do you like the snow? I love the snow. Up until a point. Like, I like when it first initially snows. I like the first full day of just snow on the ground. I like the second day of just snow on the ground. I even am okay with the third day. When it comes around to the fourth day though, I'm like, all right, snow, you gotta get out of here. Do you want to get married? Absolutely. Like I was ready to get married a year ago. I was ready to get married 2 years ago. Like, I'm so ready to get married. And I want to get married, but I want to get married to the right person. Like, I don't want to rush into a marriage just because I want to get married, but I want to get married to the right person. Is it cute when a boy or girl calls you baby? Yeah, my boyfriend calls me baby all the time, and I call him baby, and I love it. What makes you happy? A lot of things make me happy, but, like, it's weird. Like, I don't have a go-to thing that I know will always make me happy. Like, my boyfriend always makes me happy. So I guess there's that. But, in terms of, like, there's not an activity that I really do, that I go to, that I know will make me happy. Like, a lot of little things make me happy. I bought this hat at the fair. It made me real happy. And that sounds really stupid, but it makes me happy. So little things make me happy. What would you change your name? Yeah. I don't know what I would change it to, but definitely not Emily, because I feel like that's such a generic name. So, yes, but also no. Would it be hard to kiss the last person you kissed? Oh, no. I thought it meant the last person you were with. No, it wouldn't be hard to kiss the last person. The last person I kissed was my boyfriend, and I love to kiss him. He's so sweet. Your best friend of the opposite sex likes you. What do you do? Well, this is so cheesy. My best friend of the opposite sex is my boyfriend. Like, he is my best friend. In terms of, like, my other, like, I have another friend who I guess is the other closest that I have to a best friend, and he's of the opposite sex. His name is Zach, and I love him to death. He's like a brother. Like, it's one of those, like, one of those best friend relationships. And it's weird because it's like my boyfriend has a best friend that's not me, who's also a girl. And I have a best friend outside of my boyfriend who's a boy. So it's like, I get it. Like, I get having a best friend of the opposite sex that's not attracted to you. And like, it's totally fine with me. And it's like, I really, like, Zach is such a great person, and he's so, like, he listens, gives a lot of really good advice, he's very understanding, he's not judgmental. I don't talk to him like a whole lot. We're kind of off and on when we talk because he's busy and I'm busy, but I know that he'll be there if I need him. But, you know, he's like my next best friend outside of my boyfriend. Would it be weird to kiss him, or would it be weird if he liked me? I don't know if it would be weird. I don't think it would be weird because I feel like, one, I don't really know if he would tell me, but also if he told me, I feel like he would still understand, like, hey, I like you, but I also understand that you're with this person that you like, and I don't want to jeopardize that. So I think it would be fine. I don't think it would make things too awkward. Do you have a friend of the opposite sex who you can act your complete self around? Do you have a friend of the opposite sex who you can act your complete self around? Yes. My boyfriend and Zach, those are my two best friends that I, you know, am allowed to be myself around, and I don't really care. Who was the last person of the opposite sex you talked to? Actually, probably my dad, my stepdad. I talked to him earlier today. Not that long ago, actually. He texted me about dinner and I responded. So let's see, who was the last person you had a deep conversation with? Definitely my boyfriend. We sit, sometimes I get in moods and we'll just sit and we'll just talk, and it's really nice to vent to someone, and it's really nice to have someone there to talk to. So we have a lot of deep conversations. Do you believe in soulmates? Absolutely. I think that your soulmate doesn't always have to be a romantic partner, but I definitely think that it can be either or, and I definitely think that soulmates are a thing. Is there anyone you would die for? My dogs. I would die for my animals, which sounds very stupid, but if my house was burning down and my pets were still inside, I would go inside and I would risk my life to save them. I would die for my boyfriend. I would die for... I don't know if I would die for my grandmother. I know that sounds really bad, but she's like 84, you know? I don't know. I guess it depends on the situation, you know? Like, I feel like, would I die for a stranger? Probably not. But if, like, a situation arose where, like, I saw that someone was about to get run over, like, would I try to save them? Maybe. You know, like, does that put my life in danger? Probably. Would I still try to do it? Maybe. I don't know. I've never been put in that kind of situation. But yes, there are people I would die for, and also I would die for my animals. But I hopefully will never be in that situation. But my camera's about to die. It's flashing at me. So I hope this video wasn't too long. I hope this video wasn't too boring. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Go down below, subscribe, hit that bell icon so you get notified of when I upload videos, because I'm really, 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 really terrible at posting consistently, and I'm so, so sorry about that. But please hit that bell icon if you want to see more content. I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!